Good evening, everybody. It's me, Arlene Ramsey, CEO and founder of Everyone Let's Talk. I'm here again. This segment is going to be about Kanye West and his interview with Sway and the Breakfast Club. I'm quite sure you guys didn't get it because everyone's stuck on the smoke and mirrors of Kanye West being a narcissist. I can say he's a bit self-centered and self-absorbed. Yes, he can, and pretty much maybe a narcissist. You know, we don't know him personally. We can only go by what we hear him speak or hear him say in his records, right? Or in an interview, right? So my thing is, here's my take on what he's trying to say. He's pretty much saying that Barack Obama, who is the most powerful man in the world, still don't have the ability to make change because he don't have the financial backing. He said that the people, the powers that be, those who run the world are all millionaires, those who run the world are billionaires, not millionaires. That means that they are at liberty to do whatever they want to do. Kanye also mentioned the devastation in which is taking place in Chicago, without saying he is not at liberty to help that situation. He's not. He's only worth $100 million, right? So he don't have $50 million to build a company, a large corporation, and hire employees, because that'll only leave him with $50 million. And he still has to make sure that his nest egg is covered, right? So we don't want to do that. He's saying that the millions that he's asking billionaire companies like Nike for is like pennies. It's like pennies. They can cut him in, let him in on that deal because he has great ideas. He's a great artist. He can draw. He came up with a great sneaker. Excuse me. They can let him in. It's not going to hurt them. Meanwhile, while it doesn't hurt him, he gained more financial power. So then he can go ahead and make change in Chicago. He can go ahead and build up a company in Chicago and hire 1,000 people. I'm just throwing out numbers. But build a company in Chicago and give them jobs. Because we all know you can't just come in and talk. Be at a rally and talk. Not somebody like Kanye West and not offer up the solution of income. Okay? That right there in itself, everyone's talking about him being a revolutionary, an activist, and he's revolutionary. He is, right? He is. That act right there in itself is revolutionary because he's telling them, America, this grand country, right, of equal rights, the land of the free, the land of everything, let him in. Let him in on that round table so he can be a part of that discussion. The question or the topic or the talk should not be about how much of a narcissist Kanye West is. It should be, why aren't they letting him in? And America, as we know it, has a history of being a certain way. When is it going to change? How is it going to change? See, we're so small in our way of thinking that we're stuck on the fact that Kanye West has swayed away from original hip-hop. That's all you guys are talking about. He swayed away from original hip-hop. But let me tell you something. Nobody is here to live the way you want them to live. We have one world. One life to live. And we're here to be great. Do you know what Kanye's purpose is? No. You wouldn't know what his purpose is unless he told you. You know where you get your purpose from? The higher being. That's where you know your purpose. You get your purpose from. So who are you to not, or how should I say, try to jam him in a box to be one way? He's not here for that. Also, there are millions of people, billions of people in this world. The few of us, or the few of them, I'm saying us, because I am hip-hop as well. So the few of us that is in hip-hop are going to play their roles in hip-hop as they see fit, as they grow, right? So as we grow, we tend to, our music, our message change, the way we present ourselves change, a lot of things change. So if you don't like Kanye West's presentation, why don't you just stick to Nas? Nas made it clear with his Life is Good album. He made it clear this summer that he is sticking to the original. He's not swaying from original hip hop. You guys are so stuck on Big and Pac, and trust me, I love them both. Pac more because of his message. I love them both. But you also have to be prone to grow. Be prone to grow. Be prone to understanding. You know, I listened to that interview, and you guys were just talking over him and saying you don't care about his designing and blah blah blah. And you know, Charlemagne mostly. You know, Sway. I know Kanye. You went in on Sway, and I don't think Sway deserved that. And I'm not sure which interview you did first, but I'm thinking that Charlemagne pissed you off so much that you carried over your frustration and you gave it to Sway. But that way that you handled Sway should have been done to Charlemagne, because Charlemagne was really, you know, you were really out there, and I'm not sure if you did it deliberately just to, you know, push some buttons, or if you were really trying to understand. And if you were trying to understand, you didn't give yourself the liberty to understand because you were talking over him, and it was because you weren't hearing what you wanted to hear. And with Sway, he's over freestyling in that type of way. He's on to the next. Get it? On to the next. I already know Jay-Z think like that. I mean, I have every album. You know, I already know he thinks like that, but he doesn't frustrate himself in predicaments where he realizes people are not trying to understand. He puts so much information out, and if you're refusing to understand, he's not going to beat himself up against a brick wall. He's not going to do that. However, Kanye West is still young, so he still has a lot to learn. But that's his whole quest. Jay-Z gives back so much in Brooklyn, it's just ridiculous. Meanwhile, the very same, our very own, are kicking his back in because you think that he's Illuminati, which basically means enlightened. You think that he's here to do us some harm. How could he ever, and of course, I'm not putting anything past anybody, but what do we have? What do we have where he would, you know, would want to do us in? Have you thought about that? Have you ever questioned yourself and asked, why would he want to do us in? You know, you guys got to get over this paranoia of thinking that any black person who have made it out the hood, who have made it to a comfortable lifestyle, had to sell somebody out. That's not always the case. How about character? How about, you know, having great character, producing great work? Because for the billionaires and the people who run the world, they can care less about that small stuff. When they sit down at a round table, it's what you talking about, what you thinking about, what kind of ideas do you have, how can you make money for me? That's the kind of conversations that they're having. So trust me, guys, don't give up on Kanye West. He's still revolutionary. He still wants to help out in Chicago, and he made that very clear in that interview, you know. But he's saying he's looking to them for them to help him out so he can gain position to be able to help his people. That's what he's saying. He made that clear. The powers that be, the people that run the world, are billionaires, not millionaires. That should tell you something. Bells should ring off. It should also tell you that there's levels to this mess. So when we think if a person is worth a couple hundred million, that they're on the same plane with Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and those other Oprah Winfrey and the billionaires, no, they're not. They're not. It's all about comfortability. It's all about relationships. So you got to build those relationships, right? And the only way to build those relationships is through that talk. Like you said, this kind of talk is only reserved for the bosses, right? It's about that talk. It's not about that small stuff. Again, feel free to leave comments in the comment section. If you have something that that you're working on and you want me to comment on, post it in the comment section. Make sure and tell